We hope to be your neighbours for a few decades to come. It's very important to us that we are good neighbours.
Hi, I'm Natalie Bennett. I'm the Green Party candidate for Holborn St Pancras, and I'm also a resident of Somers Town. And I'm gravely concerned about a plan here for Somers Town. We're standing in front of the proposed site of the UKCMRI Research Centre. This is a medical lab being put on a 3-acre site behind me. Over to the right is the Eurostar terminal and St Pancras train station. Behind it is the British Library. What's proposed for the site here is a small bit of open space. There's a piazza, open piazza here, and then you get into the enormous tall height of the building. A total of 13 stories, when by contrast the buildings around are 5 or 6 stories. And what they're proposing to do is they have the public parts of the site down this end, and then in the middle are the laboratories, and down in the end, facing the community, are the industrial parts of the site. Somers Town is a very crowded community. It's part of the London Borough of Camden, which has a housing waiting list of 16,000, and yet it rehouses only 1,600 people, 1,600 families every year. And I've talked to many families where there's up to 4 children and a couple living in a 2-bedroom flat, a small 2-bedroom flat, if you can imagine life like that. And what this community desperately needs is more housing. The proposed site for the UKCMRI is the last site left in Somers Town and one of the last sites left in the whole of Camden on which housing could be built. What this community also needs desperately is more facilities for its young people, for everybody to have space, air, light, simply a place to go away from home.
It's very important to us that we are good neighbours and that we work with our neighbours.
Natalie Bennett, Camden Green Party. Put some housing to reduce the overcrowding, put some community facilities so there's places for the youth to go, and that will do more for the health of this area of Camden than you could possibly do with anything else. What you're saying is you need research. There are also really grave security concerns about this site. They're proposing to work on the flu virus, the SARS virus, and many other potentially dangerous substances. And if there were to be some sort of leak, some sort of accident, what you risk doing is transmitting a virus all across the continent of Europe within an hour or two. Now, they tell us that of course they'll have the best security precautions and all of those things, but as we saw with Pirbright, with the leak of the foot and mouth disease, things go wrong. The developers of the proposed medical lab say that they're very concerned about the health in Somers Town and elsewhere. But the reality is, while they're talking about the public good, they're talking about putting a hugely inappropriate facility into a very, very poor community. Just because the people here are poor and disadvantaged doesn't mean they should have to pay for the health of everybody else.